All right, we'll call the meeting at 11. Please join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chairman Chiccanetti?
Present.
Trustee Hilliard?
Present.
Trustee Pennock?
Present.
Fiscal Officer Patriarca?
Present.
Okay. Okay. We're going to open the public hearing for zoning case 2024-0003-ZC proposed map amendment. Legal is not here. Do we have somebody to read the history and?
Yeah.
Well, so we'll call that order 1102.
The history of change request for case number 2024-0003-ZC. Painesville Township Zoning Commission proposed map amendment, rezoning and parcels on Mantle Road extension from I-2 to R1. On July 2nd, 2024, the application was filed. July 31st, 2024, Lake County Planning Commission recommendation was approved with modifications. August 12th, 2024, Painesville Township Zoning Commission public hearing closed. August 12th, 2024, Painesville Township Zoning Commission regular meeting recommendation, approval with modifications. September 3rd, 2024, meeting date received by the trustees, public hearing was set by motion. September 6th, 2024, legal ad was published for the trustees. And September 17th, 2024, Painesville Township Trustees public hearing held and closed.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the text amendment change? Hearing none. Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 11:03. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the September 3, 2024 meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Summary of the work session, please.
Today's work session, we had visitors, which included Dave Radaschi from Lake County Planning. We discussed the Greyhawk development along Bacon Road. We also had a virtual meeting with a public consulting group, which is partnering with Medi-Count, Medicaid for ambulance billing. And Rick Lundstrom was here to discuss the development Harbor Crossing along Fairport Nursery Road. We will congratulate Tom Sitz on his recent retirement from the township, and we will begin the discussion of providing single trash hauler as a possibility in the township. Fire discussed firefighter Hayes returning back to full duty, the damage at Station 3 from the recent storms that we've had, and what to do moving forward, and that Station 2, the front facade repairs are complete. Planning and zoning, we discussed, again, Harbor Crossing phase of the Fairway Pines. The zoning map amendment that is on the agenda. The new dwelling fee for the zoning fee is also on the agenda, and then the Greyhawk development discussion. Then the service director discussed the road resurfacing program for next year, gave us some updates on the road projects happening this year, and he also announced that the playground equipment has arrived, and we will begin the installation next week.
For Haddon and Chickaneedy.
For Haddon and Chickaneedy.
Okay. Any old business from the floor? Okay. Ask that you come up to the lectern, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, my name is Don Calderwood. I live at 261 Copperfield Court. I've lived in Painesville Township for 16 years, and I'm basically here to bring you up to date on what's happened with the fireworks. And I want to do two things. First of all, I want to thank you for paving our street. We've been waiting for it, and we appreciate it very much. I'm representing a bunch of different neighbors that we have. So to jump into the fireworks business, it's amazing what law enforcement, the impact of law enforcement is. Because as soon as those two men were charged, and I thank you for doing that, and the law director who I think intervened on our behalf. So they were charged with fireworks, whatever that means. It's on the Painesville Municipal Court docket. We went to the arraignment, because we're following up on this and we're darn serious about it. And, Mr. Orlick pleaded no contest, and, Chris Cook, who was the gentleman that was here, last time I was, pleaded not guilty. Amazing. When they moved in, the fireworks started, and that was like 2012. But as soon as they were charged, no more fireworks. Guess what? Law enforcement works. And in that regard, I will say that if these people had been fined or cited for fireworks or for noise, because they're two different issues, really, none of this would have been necessary. Wouldn't have been necessary. Because they'd have gotten fines and they'd have gotten the message, oh, people don't like this around here. So that's what's going on with that. The noise ordinance, we requested of the Sheriff's Department a report on how many 911 calls they received in the last year for fireworks or noise. They only record these under noise, so we have no idea how many were there for fireworks. Report came back, I don't know whether you got copies of this or not, but there were 327 911 calls for noise in 1 year, July 15th to July 15th. This is, we will take those figures that they gave us, which was 327 again, and how many people were cited for noise? One person. Again, our claim that the law, the noise ordinance in Painesville Township is not enforced. And the question comes back again, why? Why not? I've talked to Captain Patterson, I believe his name is Patterson, who's had a long conversation with him. And he doesn't get part of this, but the part that he does get is that he says, well, you know, there's a lot of serious crime going on, and our officers have to respond, our deputies, and who I do not blame for not citing people, by the way. This is a matter of policy, I believe. But look, there's a lot of serious things going on, and our deputies are going out and tracking down violence, et cetera, thefts, robbery, and they can't just, you know, this is not a big issue, essentially. And he said, these other crimes take precedence. Well, I say, bunk, and I told him, bunk. Because, why? You call 911, a deputy will go out, and he will look. He may go up to the door, knock on the door, and say, I understand there's a noise complaint here, would you stop it? So they go to every single call, as they should, it may be late because they're doing other important crime activities. But they go, and they show up, and they warn people. And as you see, from all this has taken place, it doesn't work. If you enforce the law, which is, they certainly stop people from driving too fast, and many other, you know, normal types of things that you would think a sheriff or a deputy would do. But they don't do this. And do you guys have any idea why this is not enforced?
I can just speak to, I'm not a police officer, I'm not a sheriff's deputy.
Me either.
But I think the closest thing you brought up the speeding thing, and if a deputy clocks somebody speeding,
Sure.
they're catching them in the act of speeding, they can write them a citation or whatever it may be, right?
Sure.
Now, if a guy speeds by your house, you know it's his car, his license plate, you call the sheriff's office, you tell the sheriff's deputy, this guy was speeding by my house. He can, unless, and my understanding is, unless they catch them in the act of breaking that law, they could go to the guy's house and say, we understand you're speeding, stop it. If we catch you speeding, we'll cite you. But based on how the law works in crime, they would have to have either undeniable evidence or catch them in the crime of doing that. So in the same sense as noise, and if a deputy shows up and there's noise, I would hope that they're writing that citation for that noise complaint. However, if they get a noise complaint and show up and the noise is no longer happening, I believe that they're only legal, and I'm not a lawyer nor the sheriff's deputy, but, and maybe the deputy can speak to this, but my feeling is that their only recourse at that point is we have a complaint. Can you please quiet it down or not do it anymore if they're not catching them in the act of violating our noise resolution?
Mr. Chairman,
And I don't know if that's my assessment is correct, but that's, you asked the question, and that's my assessment. And
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
yeah,
if I may. So, Mr. Calderwood, I will say that nobody in all the years that I've served in office or here or elsewhere have I ever seen anybody present such overwhelming evidence as to what you and your neighbors provided. So, if everybody did what you did or had that evidence available when the police officer or the sheriff shows up, I believe there would be more charges filed. I think what you guys did in your community, presenting, I mean, it was overwhelming. It was just amazing. And that was all presented to them, and they had that to work with, and it kind of made an open shut case, and they could deal with it. Too often, though, what happens is somebody will call and complain, like in my neighborhood, and they're setting them off outside the allowable dates. And as Gabe just explained, they show up and they didn't see it, and they can talk to somebody, but I mean, again, the deputy or the sheriff there, he can explain further, but I don't believe that they can issue that ticket if I'm wrong, unless they have evidence like what was presented. You guys were just made it open and shut. You made it so darn easy for them to do their job in that regard, but that's generally not the case. And there's something else I wanted to add, but anyhow, maybe the deputy back there, captain, lieutenant, I don't know who you are in the back, but he can offer some input when he gets up.
That is the main problem. If we get a call, we're going to respond. It might not be right that minute if we're tied up on other calls. So sometimes it could be 20 or 30 minutes before we can even get out there.
Right, I agree.
At that point, if we go there and there's no noise or no fireworks being shut off, we can go up and we can talk to them. We can, issue a warning saying, hey, here's the complaints we're getting. We basically need to knock it off. And then we always document it so there's a paper trail of we keep getting the same address or the same area and location. It's all documented. So at least there's a paper trail of those complaints and how many there are. But yeah, they are correct. If we don't catch them in the act of it, we can't really issue a citation until we see it or hear it.
I understand that, and I agree with you.
And we try to sit there, we'll kind of pull down the road and wait, but
Right.
if another call comes in, we have to leave the area and go to that call.
I have a lot of experience with deputies, for a variety of reasons, this is the main one, and I agree with you completely. However, I've also been standing out in the street on Dorothea, where at 11:05 even, which is part of this, fireworks have gone up and exploded, and the deputy, not to his credit, says, well, it's 3 minutes after 11, but he probably shot that off before 11, so I'm not gonna go over there and deal with it. Now, that's just one person. I think you guys do an excellent job. I appreciate the work that the deputies do, because they've come and they've sat, as you said, wait down the street, look. But the reality is still, not one citation in a year, one citation in a year. And I mean, when I called 911 one night, and I'm not gonna go into, we're just gonna accept the 327 calls for noise. We'll just accept that face value, not going into it. And a 911 operator said to me one night, "You got about 80 calls." So we already got it. And they answered the phone. "Are you calling about the fireworks?" I said, "Yes." "Well, we've already got a whole lot of calls." So, again, the incidence of this, the frequency of it, and thank God you guys did something about it. You did. That this has been taken care of. And again, I appreciate the deputies, inside out and upside down. I don't agree with everything, but I agree with the idea, because it would be hearsay if somebody just said, well, that guy's doing that, you go and cite him. That's wrong. So, I understand all of that, but it's been a huge issue. And I'm representing about 15, 20 people in my neighborhood. It's taken a long time to do something with this. And I just wish
So,
It's okay, huge effort.
So, Mr.
Get
Carr,
yours done.
with the conversations that we've had with the sheriff's office since you and the group of neighbors originally showed up, I think that's been addressed. It's difficult to catch them, and so many people will set them off, and by the time the deputies show up, like they're not there. So, when it happens abusively, like it was in your neighborhood, that was easier to address than. I mean, where I live, there's 500 homes smacked around me, and somebody's shooting it up, and there's a whole nother section out. So it's difficult. The message has been communicated. I think they're doing the best they can, and they'll continue the best they can. But we really appreciate you. If you didn't have what you had, we'd probably still be chasing our tail. But if more people took an interest and did what you and your neighbors did, your sort of that whole area, and then when you showed up here, it helped. You know.
Yeah,
But I don't, and the one comment you made though about the deputies prioritizing calls, I mean, they have to prioritize their calls, and
I agree.
you know, right? Okay,
I totally agree with
okay,
that. They still show up. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad. If we make a call, we say fireworks going off, it's this, we think it's this address and that address, they show up. So the idea that we're too busy, we've got all these other crimes to take care of, doesn't hold any water, because they still come, it's still going on. As I mentioned, one incident only with one deputy who may not have been aware of exactly what the law was. Maybe he was new, who knows? I give them credit regardless. But it's all unnecessary. Two elements here, because there's another crime going on. If you read what's possible for fireworks, according to the Ohio legislature and the legislation that's been passed, if you read those carefully, and I think you have, it's impossible, given those criteria, to set off any fireworks within that neighborhood that I'm a part of and that you have visited. You can't do it. The range, the number of feet that are necessary to be back from, the fact that people are standing around when fireworks are set off, which is also covered in this. So let's just say that that's maybe a fact. You can take a look at the requirements, do the measurements in our neighborhood as we've discussed, and you'll see you really shouldn't be able to do fireworks at all. At all.
Most of our township.
Second thing, there's two issues here. I'll try to be brief. There's two levels of fireworks. One are permitted, 1.4. 1.4 fireworks are easy. They go up, they go pop. They shoot down red and green sparkles. Everything's wonderful. Those are legal. 1.4. Confusingly, 1.3 are not allowed. Why? 1.3 fireworks, you have to be licensed to buy them. You have to be a dealer to buy them. You have to have credentials from a city to be setting these off. You have to be trained. Why? They're dangerous. They're very dangerous. These are what's going off with what Chris Cook did and Orlick did are 1.3, because little 1.4 fireworks, pop, 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 nothing. They do not shake your house. They do not explode like boom to scare the hell out of you. You're sitting in your living room trying to watch TV and it's unbelievable. Those are totally illegal. Now, I won't even go into the idea that the state fire marshal and law enforcement, I believe, have the authority with probable cause to go and investigate and go into a home with probable cause, a search warrant for 1.3 grade fireworks. These are things that if you held one in your hand and it went off by mistake, it would blow your fingers off. It would blow your kids' fingers off. If you read up on 1.3 fireworks, as I have, obviously I've got an interest in this. When these go off in a house, a huge fire takes place as a result. An explosion, it hasn't happened yet here in Painesville Township, but I know two houses that have 1.3 grade fireworks. And I'm just trying trying to say, here's some facts for you guys to understand. Because that, I can't even begin to talk to the sheriff's department about getting a search warrant if I can't get them cited in the first place. So, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate everything you guys have done. And all of our neighbors are appreciative. We'll be going to trial if this guy actually doesn't cave and say, oh, 20 people here. Get to testify against him. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Any other new business from the floor?
That was old business.
Or old business, I'm sorry. Old business from the floor. Hearing none. Any other new business? Okay. Moving on, Lake County Sheriff's Office report.
I can see it's Sergeant.
Morning, Sergeant Pepperny, Lake County Sheriff's Office. The month of August, we had 1,369 calls for service. Within those calls, we had 4 injury accidents, 15 property damage accidents, 39 citations were written, 412 warnings issued. Of those 39 citations, 20 were driving under suspensions, and 3 were operating a vehicle under the influence that stemmed from the initial traffic stop. We've had multiple arrests that range from felonies to misdemeanor levels. We had an adult male. He was found in possession of 325 pills, which is a felony of the 2nd degree. It's a large bulk amount. It's a very good stop by that deputy. He's also charged with tampering with evidence, which is a felony of the 3rd. We've had 4 disorderly conduct arrests, 3 of which were intoxicated parties. We had a adult male. He was charged with aggravated burglary, vandalism, possession of criminal tools, and also domestic violence. 4 of those charges were felonies. 1 was a misdemeanor in the 4th degree. We had another charge of domestic violence where both adult, female, and male were arrested. We had another possession of controlled substance. They had methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia. The methamphetamine was a felony. Paraphernalia was a misdemeanor in the 4th degree. We had 4 OBI accidents, 4 OBIs that resulted from an accident. When we responded, we found them to be intoxicated. We had possession of a stolen firearm on a traffic stop. He was found to have a stolen firearm on his possession, so he was charged with RSP, which is also a felony. We had an aggravated menacing where we utilized one of our canines to track the suspect. He was found hiding out in the woods. So it was a very, very good job by our canine officer and handler. We had some breaking and entering into vehicles, one being at Cambridge condominiums. A firearm was stolen out of an unlocked car. And then at Century Village, a purse was stolen out of an unlocked car as well. That investigation led to us identifying the suspect. She was a female, and charges were filed against her. From the 1,369 calls, we had 71 business checks, 140 community policings, 58 residential and business alarms, 48 suspicious vehicle and persons, 2 assault cases, 1 drug overdose, 4 total breaking and entering the vehicles, 17 domestic violence investigations, 23 disturbance calls, 8 thefts, 2 burglaries, and 4 vandalisms. And then also, there was a mobile home that caught fire. One of our deputies observed it. He responded with the FD and helped kind of secure the area to get people out of there. And here's a note here for the month of August, the speed trailers, they got deployed to different locations, Hardy Road, Palmer, and then since school started up, they put one on Madison Avenue as well. And that is all I have.
Okay.
Stats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, department reports. Service.
Nothing to add, Mr. Chairman.
Fire.
Nothing to add, Mr. Chairman.
Zoning.
Nothing this time.
Legal is not present. Administrator. Okay. Fiscal officer.
Request resolution to certify the current cost for the following property, 1182 Dalton Drive, in the amount of $518.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also request a resolution to amend the permanent appropriation for fiscal year to $13,641,517.
So moved.
You don't have,
No, it's per the resolution, so if you don't have to read those.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certify them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to adopt the proposed revisions to the schedule of zoning fees effective September 17th, 2024, and to be attached to the Painesville Township zoning resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What are we doing here?
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask, if I can, for a motion to table item number 3 on the agenda. It's to issue pay for a road project. We did just receive the pay application on August 30th, so I don't feel that tabling this till the next meeting would be out of line. We could still pay within, I don't know, 30-ish days.
Okay, so the motion, there's a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I need a motion to adopt, so therefore, number 3 on the agenda is tabled until the next meeting. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to issue payment to Certified Lights in the amount of $16,170 for NOPEC Energy Community Grant Funds for Christmas decorations.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt a resolution congratulating Tom Sitz on his retirement from the Painesville Township Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt a resolution to adopt the zoning commission's recommendation to approve the zoning map amendment as modified in zoning case 2024-0003-ZC.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anything else? Did
Nothing.
we, on our work session, you had a executive session for our C-121? Okay, so we don't need it. Okay, so anything else, trustees?
Nothing.
Okay, motion adjourned at 11:29.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.